see all of you. Thank you for being here this evening as we honor two very special ladies. Miss Libby Johnson, who is our Teacher of the Year for 2016, teaches pre-K at West Hamlin Elementary School. Mrs. Laura Sands joining us this evening, as well as her family. Laura is kindergarten aide at Midway Elementary. How long have you been at?
19 years.
19 years at Midway?
At Midway.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into some details here in a little while about Libby and her career as well as Laura and hers. Libby, this is what, 39 years for you?
Oh my gosh.
And this all together is how many years for you?
31.
31? Wow.
She wants me to quit.
You got some years.
You got some, yeah. You know, before we get started in the actual ceremony, I want to take some time to do some introductions. I want to thank our board members for joining us this evening, and I'll introduce those folks to you for those who don't know the board members. To my left here is board member Larry Wilkerson, and adjacent to Mr. Wilkerson is our board vice president, Mr. Fred Curry. And sitting center stage is our board president, Steve Priestley. And adjacent to Mr. Priestley is board member Rowdy Baker. And beside of Rowdy is board member Carol Smith.
Yay for the women.
Yay for the women. Give it up, right? Also, we have some folks from the central office staff that I'd like to recognize who are here this evening. First of all, Bill Lindell is my assistant superintendent. Mr. King is hiding back there today.
Trying to get
in the
me.
back.
Tina's keep me from the pretzels.
Keep you from the pretzels. And adjacent to Mr. King is Tina Black. I started to say something else. Tina Black, receptionist, and she's helped today. You all smell the food. You've probably seen it out there. You know, us men, we've been cooking all day today. No one's going to believe that for a moment, are they?
Potato chips.
Yeah. The lady that put all this together and with all other activities that we do does just a great job is my secretary, Brenda Pound. Brenda, thank you so much
You're very welcome.
for the work you've done putting this together. Also would like to thank Sean O'Donoghue, the Lincoln Journal. Sean, thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate all that you do in support of our school system. It's very much appreciated. Okay, with that said, we'll begin with the Teacher of the Year. Okay, and first I want to set the stage. I want to let you know that we had several applicants for the position. And, you know, it's difficult to make those decisions when you've got people who've spent so many years in this business, and teaching for them is a true calling. It's not just a job. So Libby will be recognized this evening as one of the very best teachers, not only in Lincoln County, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we may have a state winner, right? It'll be the first time that Lincoln County teacher ever made that list. So tomorrow evening, Libby is going to be recognized at the Teacher of the Year award ceremony. It's at the Clay Center. Know that they moved it? At Embassy Suites. Somebody told me that. Brenda and I would have been on the Clay Center. It's always been a Clay Center in the past. But the criteria for Teacher of the Year is a teacher who inspires students of all backgrounds and abilities to learn. And that certainly is Miss Libby. Is someone who has the respect and admiration of students, parents, and their colleagues, which is Miss Libby, and plays an active role in the community as well as the school. And I know you've been very active in lots of areas in your life as I looked at your application and everything that you've done. You know, teachers have demanding jobs, but it's rewarding. You know, it can be physically and mentally demanding. And this is 39 years. You're holding right up, right? You're right there, not ready to retire or anything. Is there? You're not allowed to do that. And you know, and it's just as much entertainment. Come on in, Mr. Smith. It's good to see you. It's just as much entertainment business as it is teaching today. You know, most of us became educators because we were inspired by former teachers. And the true is same for Miss Libby. in her application, Libby referenced the fact that the greatest influence on her becoming a teacher was her grandmother, Verlie Donahue, that we call, Verlie, many years ago. But Verlie instilled a love of teaching and learning that still burns very strongly, very brightly within Libby. And the reason is she continues to teach and work with our young folks every day. Libby's grandmother taught her the qualities of being compassionate, caring, honest, being firm but fair, and supportive of all students. These are qualities that have been passed on by Miss Libby and to her own students for the past 38 years. I guess this is the 39th year. When asked what does it mean to be a teacher, Miss Libby responded by saying the following: teaching is an honor and a gift given from God. Teachers have a moral and ethical responsibility to help every child reach his or her maximum potential. All children deserve the right to the best education. We mustn't look back at what we did or did not do, but rather look to where we want to go with our students and plan ways to help them move forward and succeed. It's very well said for the work that we do in this business. Without further ado, I'd like for Ms. Johnson, for Libby to come forward, for the board to come down. And we're going to present you with a card as well as a gift card for $100. I'm, you have to share it with me too.
I'm just saying.
You'll come over here. Now, here's
Sit over there.
and then here's a hug.
Oh, didn't you get that on
And
camera?
then if there's any, okay. Ms. Liv, is there anything you would like to say?
I've got a little bit. I'm usually not one to speak, but I feel like I'm at the Oscars.
It took you 39 years to get here.
Make the most of it. Well, thank you for having me here. I'm greatly honored to be receiving this award for Teacher of the Year, and I would like to thank each of you for your confidence in me. I'd also like to thank my family, my husband especially, my son, my sister, my mom, everybody, my co-workers, Miss Connie and Beth, Mr. Roy, Mr. King, anyone I've came in contact with over the years, for your unconditional love and support. I've spent long hours at school, on the job, sacrificed family time when I probably should have been home with my own family, but I just have the drive to be the best I can be, and I want to be well prepared for my next school day. Teaching has not always been easy, but it has been rewarding. I've had so many wonderful memories that no one can ever take away from me. People often ask me, especially my sister, when are you going to retire? And I say, I don't know yet. I still love it. And I do. I love teaching and I love kids. So I'm getting closer. And this might be the end, but I'm not sure. I know there's a number of teachers that are equally deserving of this award, but I know that only one can be chosen, and I'm most grateful that you chose me. One of the most rewarding things about being a teacher is the joy and satisfaction of knowing that you've touched the lives of others and made a true difference in their lives. I'm proud to be a teacher. I'm proud to be a Lincoln County teacher. I'm proud to be a West Virginia teacher. I'm proud to be a West Hamlin teacher. And I'm proud to be representing Lincoln County as Teacher of the Year. Thank you so much.
Anything you wanted to add or say?
I'll speak for Jen. I'll say this about Miss Libby. My first memory of her, when we talked about how long she's been at it. My first memory, and I shared this with the staff when we first learned of this, was that I did my testing for kindergarten in her room when I was getting ready to start kindergarten. And I can remember thinking, this is going to be my teacher. And I was so excited. And I ended up with Miss Jonelle, which was just as rewarding. And I didn't realize they were sisters at the time, but I practically got Miss Baby then. But what I want to say about her is just echo what has been mentioned already. Is there are times when she walks by my office and tells me that I should go home. And it's late, 7 o'clock sometimes later. It would be hard for me to find somebody who's more dedicated to her students, more dedicated to her school, and more dedicated to her community than she is. You see her everywhere. You see her out in the communities at games and all the events. She really puts forth an effort to do the very best she can for her kids and the people she works with, all those represented here. I'm not sure if they have her as a teacher. No students, but the people that she worked with have great confidence in her. I have great confidence in her that she does the very best for her kids, and she's very worthy of receiving this.
I'd also like to recognize my team members, Ms. Connie and Ms. Wendy, because it's one of the greatest teams I ever worked on. Everybody has everybody's back. I mean, it's awesome. And I appreciate it.
Another round of applause.
Excuse me, I have to say something.
All right.
What you get from Libby, first day she taught, is what you're gonna get from Libby the last day she teaches. So she'll be the same teacher every hour, every minute, when she walks out the door. So what you've gotten, you will get at the end. Because that's how good she is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I thank my mother for coming too. She just went out on dialysis, 3 hours on dialysis, and my sister brought her, and I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Both of them.
She's not only a good teacher, she's a good daughter, and that's her mother, Dot. It's ready, we'll sit back down.
Mr. Linwood is going to handle the Service Employee of the Year. It's already been mentioned that our Service Employee of the Year is Laura Sands. She has 30 years, starting at 31st, I believe, 19 years at Midway. And I know during that time, she's trained a lot of teachers. People laugh about that, but when you have a service personnel that's been in a position for a long time and the teachers change, they train the teacher a lot of times, and we know that. And the thing about it, I've been in her classroom with her and and the teacher she's with. When you go in there, you cannot tell who the teacher is and who the aide is. And that's very important, because at that age, it's being possible for a teacher to do it all by themselves. So it's very important. She also helps with the after-school program at Midway and tutors there. But you know, I've never seen where we've hired you. I believe that's just volunteering, is that correct? So she volunteers there. She also helps cook and helps prepare the honors banquet at Midway. She always helps take care of the Veterans Day program and anything else needed at Midway Elementary. Her volunteering does not stop there. You know, they always say, if you want a job done, find a busy person, and that's true. Some of her work is she's very active in her church, Living Faith Church. She volunteers at the Dunbar Nursing Home and Rehabilitation Center, singing and teaching Bible lessons to the residents. And she's in charge of the Wednesday night food ministry at her church. She oversees the Christian education for grades K-5 at her church. She volunteers for Camp Zoe, a summer camp, as a counselor and a cook. And she also writes and directs both the Christmas and Easter plays at her church. So she is
very, very busy helping everyone. One of her teachers that she works with, Miss Connie Browse, made this comment. Her creative mind has inspired many children and adults at Midway Elementary. And she does not know what a job description is, because she just does whatever's needed. That's not on the job description. That's the kind of people we need. Mr. Davis made the comment, she's a model employee, reliable, but most of all is loved by her students. You know, and as we're discovering, when people like Libby, people like Laura retire, sometimes it takes two to replace them. And that's true, because they're such a dedicated worker and do everything. So it's an honor and a privilege both to introduce this year's Service Employee of the Year, Miss Laura Sands.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the honor and the privilege to work in Lincoln County. I was born and raised here. I don't live in Lincoln County anymore, but I still have strong ties, family ties, and I love the children of Lincoln County. I feel honored to be in this position, but even, you know, if I weren't standing here today, I would still feel an honor and a privilege to be given the opportunity to do a job that I love. I love the opportunity to work with kids every day and just to be able to help them reach out in any way that I can and help them further their education, help the teacher in whatever way she needs help. Anything that we can do to move children forward. And I always enjoyed working here, and it's like Libby said, it's not always been easy, but it's always been rewarding, and I'm so thankful for just the privilege and honor that you guys have given me to be Lincoln County Service Personnel of the Year, and I thank you for it.
Mr. Mickey's looking at me. I think that's my cue. No, I'd like to speak for myself, and anyone else might also want to chime in, but we just want to congratulate both Laura and Libby. As I think Libby said there, you represent not only yourself, but others that do the same thing you do, and all Lincoln County employees and Lincoln Countyans in general. And we know what a job you do. What we heard tonight was that both of you had in common is you go way, way beyond the call of duty. And we've always seen that of those that have gotten this award, and it seems like that's true. No matter year after year, we keep seeing that. So, we know what you do. Or you mentioned the kids. That's what it's all about, and the service that you've done. We want to thank you for that. And Mr. Meadkiff, I don't know if there's something going on different with the Teacher of the Year, the State Teacher of the Year.
It's a different activity for teacher
because
given service.
I don't know whether all 55 will be represented at this activity tomorrow, or is it just
It's only those counties that participate in the Teacher of the Year award ceremony, which
okay.
it's not every county.
Okay. Maybe we'll have our fingers crossed that you're one of the finalists or the one chosen. I don't know how that works any longer, but they sure in the state couldn't do any better than to choose you. Just once again, we want to thank you on behalf of all the kids of this county and for your service, and we're proud of you. Thanks.
Thank you. Davis, I'm sorry, I want to give you an opportunity to speak as well.
I'd love to, I appreciate that.
You don't have a seat.
If you don't mind, I'd like to back up to Libby just a second. I think one of the more important things we forgot to mention is she's from 4 Mile.
Branson now, Branson. Represent
And I grew
Branson.
up on 4 Mile as well, so I thought I'd mention that. But also, I had the privilege of, they say that the true reflection of a person is what you see in their children. And I had the pleasure of teaching our son Aaron at Lincoln County High School, and he's one of the finest young men that I've ever had as a student. So this says a lot. As I look around the room, I see a few former principals in the room, and as you all know, when you step into the building, you come across those 4 or 5 people that you know that you can depend on. That when something needs done, or you have some type of project that you want to share leadership with, there's those 4 or 5 people in the building that you can turn to. And Miss Laura Sands is one of those at Midway Elementary. It does not matter what I ask of her, she is up for the task. Cooking for 200 plus people at our honors banquet every year, that's not an easy task. And then serving the meal on top of it. She does that willingly every year, and really, she comes and asks, you want me to do that again? So, to me, that says a lot about, she's really a special person. And I really meant what I said when I said her kids love her. You go in that room, she is a teacher in the room. I know we say she's a service personnel, but she is a teacher in that classroom. And she means everything to those kids in there, and she does a great job. I know they've already awarded the service personnel award for the year for West Virginia. I believe somebody from Mineral County won that. But I can tell you this, there's not a better aide in the state of West Virginia than Miss Laura Sands. And she's very deserving of the honor, and I appreciate you all honoring her with that honor as well.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Again, thank all of you. I really appreciate you being here this evening. There's no better way to celebrate than by eating. And we have a very nice meal out here. I hope you'll stick around, you'll join us and eat before our board meeting, which begins at 6 o'clock this evening. Again, congratulations. I'll see you tomorrow evening.